Welcome, everyone. Hi, my name is Kathleen Edwards. I am a director on the board for the Toronto Council on Aging. The Toronto Council on Aging is a nonprofit organization based in Toronto. This is a webinar series brought to you by the New Horizons for Seniors grant. I'm really excited to have Charlene here. I heard her speak last year.
Thank you. What a great introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. First off, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be here and talk about Amintro and share our story. And as Kathleen said, my name is Charlene Nadlin. I wear many hats with the organization, but I am the founder of Amintro, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here and to share it with you. So on that note, what is Amintro? So Amintro is a free social platform. It's truly intended and its objective is to truly be a social platform that builds connections. It was designed exclusively for mature adults. The minimal age criteria to become a member is 50 years of age. And we are completely focused on building friendships, shared experiences, and community. And we're focused on doing this online as well as offline, which is key to our existence. How did this all come to be? I come from a corporate background. I had an extensive career in downtown Toronto and loved it. And reached a point where I needed something more and was looking for opportunities. In the meantime, spending time with my family. I have a younger brother in Florida, and my mom is in Florida as well while I was in Canada. And so just, would go home occasionally, a couple of times a year, and spend really great quality time with my family and my mom. I'm in her home right now, actually. I'm in Florida. Since the snowfall hit last week, it was time to leave. I'm able to work from here, and was just observing her life, and she became the inspiration for Amintro. So this is Marge Nadlin and myself in the teacups at Disney World in Orlando several years ago, and I was just really observing her life and thought, it'd be great if she had more friends, she had more activities, and I could, she had easy access to information that might give her some inspiration to get out and explore and do more things that she would enjoy, but maybe not know how to get that information. So Marge is really the one behind the launching of Amintro, and hang on a second. Why can't I move? Oh, there we go. So one of our partners, an organization called Age Well in Toronto, created a video about Amintro that tells our story. So I've given you a little bit of the background on Amintro, but I'd like to play the video that they created for you now.
As we progress in life and the opportunity to continually make new friends and engage with other people, it starts to dwindle. When we lost my dad, there wasn't necessarily a large support group of friends for my mom. And we have no family nearby. I did a lot of research, originally focused on how can I help my mom, and by default then, help my brother and help me, and discovered this massive epidemic of social isolation and loneliness. Amintro is a free online social platform and information hub exclusively for adults 50 plus. Our number one goal is to enhance the lives and the quality of lives of as many people as possible. Social isolation is a daily reality for many older adults, and with COVID-19, it has just multiplied the impact. We want to reduce the number of strangers there are in the world. We are not a dating tool or service or resource. We are focused on good old-fashioned camaraderie and friendship. You can use a computer, a desktop, a tablet, a smart device of any kind, and you can sign up by a number of ways. You're asked a series of about a dozen questions, and we focus on not just hobbies, but where do you come from and what languages do you speak? And the algorithm then identifies other members. You can begin chatting within the platform with the end goal of actually getting out of the house, logging off, and actually meeting in person. April's impact on Amintro has been the greatest thing that's probably ever happened to us. It has absolutely exposed Amintro to a larger audience and built the recognition and the credibility for our organization. Our tagline is make friends, live life. And I really believe that people want to be in charge of their destiny. Life is a lot better when you have people to experience it with.
I neglected to mention at the start that we'll do questions and answers at the end of the presentation. So if you wouldn't mind holding your questions until the end, I'd be happy to answer them. Plus, I might answer several of them as we go through the presentation. As indicated in the video, there are lots of people that are lonely or socially isolated. In fact, there's currently 39 million adults over the age of 50 who fall under that characterization in North America. And there are 74 million family caregivers. This could be their adult children. It typically is their adult children or adult in-laws, like myself and like my brother, who you know, are worried about the well-being of our mom as she gets older, and we want her around for as long as possible. So, you know, what we realized in the early days of the idea of Amintro was this was not an isolated situation with my family. There are many families, there are many people that this is impacting at a global level. Amintro is a North American service currently, and there's a lot of people for which we can serve. And why? Why does it matter? Because there are major health risks and consequences related to loneliness and or social isolation. First of all, it increases the mortality rate by 30%. The reason for this is it brings on depression, mental health issues, which then, you know, lead to physical ailments. Perhaps you're not eating 3 square meals a day. You know, there's a lot of various factors that contribute to this. Increases the risk of dementia by 50%, which is astronomical and quite frankly a horrific figure. Stroke by 32%. And as you can imagine, the economic impact of social isolation or loneliness on our society currently is to the tune of over $117 billion in North America, not to mention the caregiver burnout. So those are maybe family caregivers who, like myself, were worried, concerned, you know, maybe can't be involved as much as they would like, or those that are able to be more involved, but you know, it can be quite overwhelming for the sandwich generation, and so they suffer from burnout as well. So there are a lot of health risks, not just on the older adult, but also their family and their loved ones. So we would not be here if it weren't for numerous partners that support our mission at Amintro, and I'd like to just acknowledge the various organizations that we have partnered with over the course of our development and corporate journey. So TechServe, Rise Ventures, Innovation Guelph, AgeWell, the organization that created the video we just watched, Communitech in Waterloo, Sheridan, the Elder Research Center in the Oakville location, and Connected Canadians. Connected Canadians is based in Ottawa, and TechServe is in Toronto, and they are two really phenomenal organizations that provide digital literacy training and courses for older adults specifically. So they're wonderful organizations that we've partnered with. And this leads into, you know, what are the benefits of joining Amintro, and what do you get as an Amintronian? So the first thing is using our social platform, which is absolutely free. You get introduced to people by Amintro. So the platform has provides friend suggestions. That's what they're called. We're able to identify a lot of commonality, not just interests, but definitely interests is a key factor. We're very much focused on what makes us who we are today. And the reality is our past, our present, and our wishes for the future make us who we are. And so we delve into that and find the similarities amongst our fellow Amintronians to identify these individuals that will most likely be a great introduction for the start of potential friendships. We also have members who like to be more proactive in finding and connecting with people. And so within the platform, we do have a search mechanism where you can go in and identify maybe certain interests. You know, if you're interested in fishing and you're looking for somebody nearby to go fishing with, or you know, there's something in the theater, or whatever the interest may be, you can search Amintro for fellow members that may have the same interest. And of course, there's, you know, country of birth, perhaps an item on your bucket list, and that speaks to talking about future plans. Within the platform, you can start a conversation. So you can start chatting through our instant messaging feature and get familiar with fellow members one-on-one through chat. And the idea is, you know, until you are more comfortable, then you can perhaps take it offline to a phone call, or you know, carry on there. But the objective is that Amintro, as a member of Amintro, you get introduced to people, you can connect with people, and you can chat with them all within the confines of the platform. As an Amintronian, you also get to access relevant and pertinent articles and video content that are, you know, produced really for the 50+ life stages. So it could be content on, you know, historically traveling. I know that's not really an option currently. It could be tips for estate planning, or you know, creating a book club during COVID. We had a lot of articles in the early days of the pandemic that provided great tips and advice on staying engaged, staying active, and doing it while we, you know, had to social distance and self-distance, and through the days of lockdowns and so forth, which, you know, many of us are going through again. So there's quite a lot of, it's a massive library of articles on all sorts of subject matter that would be relevant. The goal being that it informs, it engages, it entertains, it inspires ideas. You know, we've had articles on, you know, how do you put together your bucket list? And, or if you have something on it, how do you make it happen? Like maybe the idea is to ride ride a donkey down the Grand Canyon. And I say that because that's actually one of my mom's goals, and it's on her bucket list, and she's going to make it happen. So anyhow, just to give you an idea of the type of content that is available as an Amintronian. And of course, eventually, and when it's safe and when it's possible, the objective is that Amintronians and our members can actually meet one another in person. One of the key pieces about joining Amintro is that while it's a North American platform and we have American and Canadian members, the members are introduced based on close proximity. And the reason for that, and there's a restriction, quite frankly, of up to or no more than 100-kilometer radius, it's because we really believe that to truly foster a friendship and connection, you need to meet in person. You need to feel the energy, sit there and watch the body language and really get to know one another and really invest the time together to build the foundations of friendship. So we are quite different from other, let's say, social networks in that we are a technology-based service, but we actually want our members to log off and meet in person. You're always going to come back because there's a lot more friend suggestions as our community grows. There's a lot more articles and video on a regular basis. But we do fully believe that, it can't all be online. And that's an important part of what we stand behind at Amintro. Now, obviously, like I said, we can't do that right now. COVID has prevented that from really happening, but that's okay, because as a member of Amintro, you can actually start building your social circle and your social network through the safety of being online until the time when we can comfortably meet and safely meet in person. So it definitely helps to keep people connected and engaged and building social circles, regardless of the current situation that we're facing these days. And, Amintronians build a foundation of friendship on Amintro. That is what we stand for. Our name, Amintro, is all about friendship. What it actually comes from is part of my educational background are the Romance languages, so Latin-based languages. I speak Spanish, I am conversant in Italian, and all words that have to do with friends or friendship in Latin-based languages have the prefix AMI. So in Spanish, friends are amigos or amigas. Amistad is friendship in Spanish, amici in Italian, ami in French, and intro to introduce friends. So I put them together and we came up with Amintro, and that is the actual origin of our name of our platform. So joining Amintro is very, very simple. I do have a video tutorial that we'll go through, but it starts with you telling us about yourself. And then once you're in, you can explore the community and you can connect and get social. So without further ado, here is a video that was produced by one of our partners, actually.
Hi, I'm a volunteer from TechServe.to, and today this video is going to be about how to sign up on Amintro and just a little bit more information about the website. So first, we're going to open up any web browser that you use. So for instance, I'm using Microsoft Edge, but if you use a different web browser like Chrome or Firefox, just open up that. And what we're going to do is just type in Amintro and just hit enter up in the search bar there. So it's going to search the web for Amintro. And we see the first one here is the Amintro Social Platform and Information Hub for those 50 plus. So we're going to click on that one. That's going to bring us to the Amintro website. So when we get here, we see A few things at the top here. We see why join Amintro, Amintro in the news, get social magazine, and log in. And we also see this big join now, it's free button. So if we scroll down, we can see kind of Amintro's mission. So their statement is make friends and live life. So start meeting new people today in 3 simple steps. So 1, tell us about you. 2, explore the community. 3, connect and get social. And then it explains the steps below. But if you want some more information, you can click on why join Amintro up at the top here. So if we give that a click, it's going to bring up some more information about Amintro. So again, make friends, live life. It's going to give us the same, tell us about you, explore the community, and connect and get social. So this is your life, make the most of it. And there's some frequently asked questions at the bottom if you want to go through and look at those. So is Amintro a dating site? No. Who can join Amintro and how? Why should you join? There's some security and features. Is it safe to use? Why do you ask for my email address? So there's just a lot of information you can go through and look there to see more information about Amintro. Then if you want to go back to that home screen that I got to just by searching up Amintro, you can just click the big Amintro logo here and it'll bring you back to the home page. So if you've looked into Amintro and you decided you want to join, you can either click join now, it's free, or log in. So I'm going to click log in just because that's what you'll be clicking on to log in after you make your account. So I would just click log in. And this login button here, that'll show you, or that'll lead you to the login page once you have an account. But if you don't have an account yet, so you can create an account. So click this create account button. And then it's just going to ask for your information. So first name, I'm just going to use Jane Doe as the name. So Jane, last name Doe, put in your email address. And then a password is the last thing you need. So it must be 6 characters, both upper and lowercase letters, and at least 1 number. And try to make it a password that you don't use for other websites. That's just in general a good internet privacy tip. I'm going to put that password in and click sign up. So almost done. Confirmation email has been sent to my email. So I'm going to open up my email now and make sure that I've gotten the email. So I'm using Thunderbird, but you can open up your Gmail or Outlook or anything like that, whatever email provider you use. And there's my email there. Welcome to Amintro. So there's some things here. Thank you for saying yes to join our community. Confirm my account. So I'm going to click confirm my account. And it's going to bring me back to the login screen. So now you're ready to log in. So my email was already there, but you can just type in your email again, and then the password you chose. So log in, and welcome to Amintro. So let's begin. So now I'm here. So which gender identity do you associate with? You can go with all of this stuff. So prefer not to say if you want. Then when were you born? So you pick which year. And then I'm just going to pick a random one. Which country were you born in? So I'm just going to say Canada. You type it in there. You select the option. Next. What province were you born in? Ontario. You just go through and answer all these questions. What city, town were you born in? I'm just going to say Toronto. What language do you speak? So now you can add in all the languages you speak. So I'm going to say English. And next. What other languages do you speak? So I'm going to say I also speak Italian. Maybe I also speak French. So we're going to add those in. Where do you live? We live in Canada or the United States if you live in the United States. The postal code to confirm what city and town you live in. So I'm just going to do M1, M1, M1. You can look up, says that's in Scarborough, sure. But you're going to put your postal code in. Then there's some more questions. So what is or was your line of work? So I'll just say teacher. Add as many as you like. Which statement best describes your activity level? So I'll say maybe I exercise regularly. It's movie night. So it's just a bunch of different kind of characteristics of you that you want to put in here. And then Amintro will kind of set you up with other people that have common interests to you. And then they'll give you a possible friend suggestion. So I'll just pick, I like all movies. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time? Let's just say reading. And you can add as many of these as you like. And then just some more questions. So if you could go any country in the world, I'll say Italy. What's in your bucket list? Skydiving. We'll just add, some characteristics about yourself, and then that way you'll get good suggestions for people to connect with. And then some of these you could skip through, but I do recommend putting more in, just because you might get people who have interests that align with yours. And then congratulations, you can begin contacting Amintro members. So now here's my profile here with everything that I've put in so far. Now, if I want to change any of my interview answers, I could click review my interview answers, and then it'll let me change any of the ones that I've decided to change. If not, we could just go back to click my name up here in my profile, and it'll bring me back to my profile. So while I'm here, if I click suggestions at the top left, it'll bring me to any friend suggestions that Amintro has given to me. So they'll show up here, or if you have friends on the waiting list, which means you haven't confirmed that you want to connect with them yet, it might also be on the C waiting list here. You can also search Amintro from here. So if you click on that, it'll say, let us know what you're looking for. And you can put in interests, gender, country of birth, or an item in the bucket list. So say you want somebody to run with, you put running, and then road running. So that's an interest you want. Say you want male, you could put male, and then a country of birth and an item in the bucket list. And you could search that, and Amintro will try to give you suggestions of some people that could connect with you with those interests. You can also go to friends at the top here, and then if you have people that you've already connected with, you can type their name in there, and the conversations will come up there. Beside that is articles. So there's just some articles here with some information that you might want to read. There's quite a few here, so if you just scroll down, you might find one you're interested in. And then if we go to the top right side, we have the little letter icon, so we click on that. That'll bring you up to your recent conversations with friends. I just don't have any because this is a new account. And if you click on your name, like I said before, it'll bring you to your profile, review your answers, and you can log out. If you want to just go back to your profile, you can do that, and then we're back where we started. If you want to get back to the suggestions page also, you can always click the Amintro logo, and it'll bring you back to the suggestions page as well. And those are the basics on how to use Amintro. Thank you.
So in addition to the video, one of the questions I get periodically is, why so many questions? What do you use the information for, and is it really that important that I answer all the questions? There's about a dozen questions, and we very much believe at Amintro in making quality introductions, not quantity. There's no point introducing people to anyone and everyone, regardless of commonality and interests and so forth, because quite frankly, that's not going to lead to potential friendships. That's just sort of a numbers game, and that is not what we believe in or what we stand for. And so we really strive to make quality introductions and social opportunities for our members. And so by having a bit of this information, it enables us to make those introductions and continue to do so as our community grows and more people join Amintro. So one of the, I guess, the benefits of becoming an Amintronian is that as our community grows, there's a great likelihood of being introduced to more people at a local level that you have things in common with. And so we want to make sure that we're providing our members that opportunity on an ongoing basis. That's why the answers to the questions are so important, but they're not overly profound or deep or personal questions, but they're enough for the basis of a friendship, which is key. Now, when joining Amintro, we do have a few tips. One of them is to please upload a picture for your profile. This is quite impersonal. It's a placeholder, this icon of the purple individual, and it doesn't really help to start a connection when you can't see the individual with whom you might be communicating with, or who has been presented as a friend suggestion. So it's very easy to upload a photo, and we highly recommend that you do this. It will also increase the number of people that will engage with you as well, because they will feel more comfortable with who they might be speaking with. Now, I mentioned earlier that we are very much focused on connecting people who could highly likely have the opportunity to meet in person, and we do that through the search radius. So on the suggestions page, you'll see where I've circled the search radius currently set at 100 kilometers, and there's a change, the word change, that is orange. It's orange because it's a hyperlink. So when you click on it, a drop-down window opens up with search radius options. And so you might be interested in, being introduced to people that are within a 100-kilometer radius of yourself. You might select the 100 kilometers, or you might say, you know what, I'm not driving. I really just want to stay very, very local. I want to be introduced to people, and I want to connect with people that are within 10-kilometer radius of me. And so you can select whatever you are comfortable with. Once you select it, you'll see that the search radius changes to the distance that you had selected. And what you're seeing with David W., that's exactly how a fellow member, an Amintronian, is presented. You get a little bit of a bit of information about them, about their likes, and then you can see more of their profile, where you can then say, yes, I'd like to be introduced to David. There are I will say two opportunities. One is a friend suggestion, which is created by Amintro. The other is what is called a member request. So if you can see under David's picture, it says member request. What that means is David did a search of Amintro for whatever criteria he used, and this individual popped up, and David sent an introduction request. And so what happens is Amintro then says to the other party, we've been asked to provide an introduction by this member. So it identifies David as having been the member who requested the introduction. Once both parties agree or accept each other as a friend, they then get populated. Their profile appears under the Friends tab, which is right next to Suggestions. You can also choose to put the individual in your wait list, as TechServe Toronto mentioned in the prior video, where maybe you're not so sure, or you're not ready to make a decision right now, but you don't want to lose the request by David or whoever the individual may be, but you can put them down in your wait list, and maybe at a later time you're like, yeah, I would like to connect with that individual. So you've got options there. I would like to acknowledge TechServe. They, in addition to creating that video for Amintro, they are actually the tech support for our members. So should you ever run into any issues, or you have any questions about your account with Amintro, TechServe provides the tech support. Additionally, they offer group training on digital literacy for other types of technology and software. It could be using WhatsApp, for example. So really great organization that is growing and supporting communities across the country. So we're thrilled to have them as part of our partnership. Now, this leads to some of our frequently asked questions, and we've got a cute little video here that I'd like to play for you. one of the other questions we get is, how can it be free? You know, what's the catch? Is it really free? The answer is yes. Amintro is absolutely free for our members. We are a social impact enterprise. We are trying to make a difference on society. That is our objective. Now, how do we sustain that as an organization to continue with that mission of being a free social resource? We do it through our sponsors. So we work with, and these are just a selection of the organizations that sponsor Amintro so that we can continue to provide our platform to North Americans. And with that, I want to thank you for your time and open it up to any other questions or comments you might have.
So people said, thank you for the presentation. Interesting platform and opportunity to build connections.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then there's another question. Does Amintro provide support for digital literacy for adults to help them use the platform or other digital opportunities?
Yes, absolutely. So TechServe TO is the organization that provides that on behalf of Amintro.
Mm-hmm. And so adding to that, so recognizing people have different levels of digital literacy, and the variety of languages I know that exist in Toronto, does Amintro have an option where people could switch the interface so it would be presented to them in their preferred language, so English to French or Italian or whatever other language they speak?
I love that question. It currently does not, but one of the reasons why one of the questions is, you know, what language do you feel most comfortable speaking, followed up by what other languages do you speak, is because it then identifies other members that English may not be their mother tongue, and it identifies what their mother tongue is. So that is one of the items that is a commonality, and when members get introduced, they'll know that they actually speak the same language and can converse through the instant messaging in their language. The interface currently is in English, but that is a plan for the future to enable it to convert into multiple languages. It's awesome. Basically, it's called internationalization of a platform.
Yes. Does Amintro track the journey of friendships? And then, so how often do two people chat in the platform, and how often do they connect outside of the platform?
You know what, we do not track that currently. That is something that we leave to our members to control what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Have any members shared any feedback or stories
yes.
about their friendship journeys? And can you share some examples?
Well, we had 3 individuals actually in Caledon, and it was 2 ladies and a gentleman, and they I heard from the gentleman just saying, this is wonderful, we have a lot in common. They had a tech background with their careers, and they had connected and been introduced and lived nearby, and we're excited to meet up.
Oh, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then, so do you have any statistics on the ages of the users that you have? So how many older adults do you have as members on Amintro right now?
Yeah, so it is constantly growing. We have anywhere from, the majority of our members are from 50 to 69. They represent about 68-69%. And then another 20% are like 70 to 76, 77. And then there's a little smaller percentage that are closer to their 80s and so forth. Mm-hmm. And it's a mix of men and women, and they're right across the country, which is fantastic.
So I guess given the current situation, especially for those who are in long-term care or in retirement homes, they can't actually go out into the community and engage in the way they typically would because of the lockdowns. So has Amintro reached, I saw Chartwell was one of your sponsors. Have you
Yes.
partnered with Chartwell to try and introduce Amintro to residents so that way they can potentially still maintain connections even though they can't leave the home or the residence where they're living?
So yeah, we are in discussions about just that. Yes.
Wonderful. That's exciting to hear.
Yeah, because the reality is with Amintro, it's a free platform. It's accessible to anyone that has a internet access, regardless of where they live. So whether they are aging in place in their homes or are in a retirement residence or community or long-term care, as long as they have internet access, they can join and become a member of Amintro. And for example, if they restrict the introductions to a 10-kilometer radius, well, what that means is they could very well get introduced to neighbors within the residence that they may not realize or have gotten to know for various reasons. Like it's a nice, Amintro is really an icebreaker. It's basically a place where people that are joining are saying that they're open to meeting people. And Amintro is like that host of a party that knows a little bit about everybody, so can go around and graciously make introductions so that their guests can have conversations and get to know one another and have a nice evening at the party, right? That's the analogy I tend to use because that's really what we're doing. I mean, we're a population in Canada over 33 million people. Why do we have loneliness and social isolation? To me, that doesn't make sense. With the numbers of people, there's no reason for it as far as I'm concerned. Life experiences and life stages and situations I understand, but with that many people, there shouldn't be that many strangers, in existence. And so our objective really is to, convert one stranger, into a friend, bit by bit through these introductions. And in my experience, and I firmly believe this, is that the more time you spend speaking with somebody, and it's anybody, the more you will realize, and it will come to light, how much you actually have in common with that individual. And I do this all the time. I mean, if someone makes the mistake of making eye contact with me, we're going to have a conversation because I'm fascinated with people, and I love meeting people and learning from them. And that is part of the feeling behind Amintro. And so, yes, we're talking to Chartwell. There's opportunity talking to, other organizations. I won't name them, but other retirement residences, because not only can they actually have the icebreaker and meet some of their fellow residents in the residences, but also people that are outside the residence. Once lockdown is over and we get back to the normal that we, have enjoyed and been familiar with, there's an opportunity for people to really expand their social circles right where they're standing and outside of where they're standing.
Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be interesting. I know I live in a community close to Toronto, and I was supervising students on placement, and it was a very small community where I went, where they had a retirement residence, and with recreation programs, especially they had a progressive euchre tournament, but it was open to people who were in the community, came in and played with their friends who lived in the residence. And I think that, hopefully with Amintro, that's something that is a little bit easier to accomplish in communities, is that you have that community members coming in to share in recreation programming, especially for those who can't go out because, they don't have the mobility or they don't have the transportation, especially in small communities. You don't necessarily have the bus or public transit that you have in like a larger municipality like Toronto. So I definitely see how a platform like this really does translate well to, geographically diverse communities. So it's so exciting to hear about this platform. I'm not seeing any other questions pop up. I am imagining that everyone else, oh,
I was gonna say I did a good job then, or I talk too much. I'm not sure what it is.
Someone says, break down walls between community and congregate care settings. Absolutely. And I do think that this is really something that you were thinking years in advance and now have something to help people kind of get through the current situation. And I'm really hoping today for those who are here and for those who are watching on YouTube that it's something that you think about looking into so you can build those connections and try and get you through this, you know, next little rough patch, because we've heard there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I do think that this is a way that you can prepare yourselves to have people to connect with when you are ready to connect in person once it's safe and, you know, we get back to normal. But thank you so much, Charlene, A, for your innovation, B, for just taking the time to speak to us today. We are truly blessed to have you. So on behalf of the Toronto Council on Aging and behalf of all those attending today, we just want to thank you for your time and sharing a little bit about Amintro with us today.
Honestly, thank you for your time. It's a thrill for me to be here, and I really appreciate it.